ones, Coach JayJay here. Today we're going to be working on a cross guard technique. And a cross guard, I first learned this from Alberto Crane. And the story of how he got good at cross guard is when he was training in Brazil, he broke his arm. And so he had to train with one arm. And so he just got really good at the cross guard. And one of the concepts behind the cross guard was that you dominate one side, so that the person is stronger when they have both sides available, left and right side. They're stronger, they got good balance and a multitude of attacks. And if you dominate one side, you take away the balance and you take away half of their attacks. So that was kind of the underlying concept of the cross guard, and then it's developed a lot. So we have a lot of techniques here. So let's look at this and try to put them all into a package and make them easy to learn. Okay. So when we're talking about cross guard, we're talking about taking a cross grip, right? One of the first cross guard techniques that you're going to learn is the sit-up sweep or the bump sweep. So we take this cross grip, or sit up, and we get that bump sweep. All right? A lot of you guys know that just from the fundamentals class, but just for review, right? We can pull this, and the guy starts pulling back. I'll sit all the way up on my hands, and you see I'm up on my feet as well. And my elbow will come around his arm, and I'll bump him and come up on top. So that's one of the most fundamental cross guard techniques, one of the first cross guard techniques. The second one that I like to teach is to the omoplata. So we're going to control here, we're going to go underneath and lock up the omoplata. Once we lock this up, of course, I'm going to reach over his back as I'm driving my knees to the floor, and I'll reach and I'll get this collar. Now I'm going to go ahead and hip escape and finish my omoplata, and that's done. Now, sometimes I'll put both of those together. So I'll go for this one, and then I'll drive to this one. I like that. One of the key ingredients here is that you can push him. You're going to push into his armpit here with your legs. Everybody knows the legs are the strongest part of the body. So as I cut the corner, I'm going to push, and that drags his arm into my hip, and then I'm able to sit up and move to the omoplata. I'll try to hip escape and get the submission. Now, as I said in previous videos, I like to have one grip and a bunch of attacks. And it's nice if your attacks can flow together, kind of like action reaction. Like you go for one, he defends, you move into the next one. So that's exactly how this is going here. So when I go to here, he puts his hand on the mat, and I move right to triangle. All right. Now triangle, we're trying to get rid of one arm. That's always the case with the triangle, right? I want to hip escape, get rid of one arm, and go get the triangle. So
fuzz?
Yeah. So that's what's happening here, right? I'm going to control him here. I'm pushing him, and look, I made him post with this hand. So that means I removed one arm. Now also I'm pushing him, so what's he doing? Often he's pushing back. So I push him, he pushes back, and I lock up the triangle. Now, you'll notice how I pivot. My head goes one way, and then my head goes back the other way. So my head goes this way, I push, and as he pushes back, my head swings back the other way. You can grab your own shin, grab his leg, and get that submission. Now, we can also hit the omoplata roll here. So the omoplata roll, we're going to come up underneath here, and I'll start driving him and coming up on top. When I come up on top, we'll control this hand here, and I'll sit on it. Now I can pretty much anticipate these legs coming up, so what I'm going to do is drop in with my arm, put my head down, and get to the side control. All right. Let's look at that again there. So we're going to push him so hard, we're going to drive his shoulder to the mat. It's going to make it easier to dump him over. So we're going to hit him so hard, it drives him, and then it takes the weight off of me, and it's easier to bring him back. Right away, I'll put my head here and control his hip here and move to side control. Now, what the person will do as well is they'll try to get away from this. They'll try to get away from the triangle, and they also will try to get away from the omoplata roll. So we'll have him here, and he doesn't want that triangle, so he's kind of like leaning away. Right? I got him, and then I'm trying to get that roll, but he leans away from that roll. He doesn't want that roll, so I'm going to dump him. I'm going to dump him over this way. So we're going to backwards roll and put him up on top. Okay, let's look at that one again. So this one I use a lot. It's real sneaky, and again, it works well if the person is defending the other things. So they're defending the other things, and then they fall right into this one. Right, so we're catching him here, coming underneath. I want that roll. I'm pushing him. I want that triangle, but he's leaning away from that triangle. And I can come up on top and get it. Now, it can happen different ways right there. You see what happened there is JayJay stayed on his knees. So I was here, and he stayed on his knees. He's trying to get away from that triangle, and then I'm just going to roll up and get it. And that works. Sometimes what can happen as well is they'll lean away, and I'll end up with this leg. So I'll end up kind of like with this leg. So he's trying to get away from that triangle. He's trying not to get rolled, and I end up with this leg, in which case I'm going to backwards roll and come up on top. Still control this arm, smash his leg or his arm, and that side control. So that's a whole lot of techniques right there with one grip, right? So you can see if you've got 6 techniques with one grip, you're gonna get one of them. So I like this technique a lot. And